Hi, so good to see you today. I think because I have 24 subscribers that I might get to use my laptop all the time now. I don't know. I'll take it whatever way it goes. Okay, so we have a little bit and then writing your own story. And I'm probably not going to make it to the end of this chapter. So tomorrow's Friday. So we'll finish this chapter and decide what book or what conversation we want to have. So, you see, bipolar disorder isn't just a set of symptoms. The symptoms vary. The symptoms very much play out in relation to who you are. No one's life is perfect, and we all have our stuff. In fact, who you are, your personality, is very much a reflection of the important relationships of your childhood. When these relationships are loving and healthy, then you end up being pretty well put together. But when your childhood years are difficult and relationship with parents, siblings, or other key people in your life have been rough, then your resulting personality can be troubled. And when at the same time you're genetically vulnerable to bipolar symptoms, then you've got a double whammy. It's important to recognize that there is no blame intended here toward anyone. If you find that you're still struggling with unresolved childhood issues, it's truly not your fault. You didn't design the drama of your life. You came into the world as an infant without any choice. Nor is it the fault of other important people in your life. It may sometimes seem that it's their fault, but in most instances, they were simply being themselves and trying their best to adapt, even if their efforts only made things harder. In other words, our personal dramas don't have villains. They usually just have people struggling with their own stuff. And this drama, the set, the lighting, the script, the props, and other players very much shapes who you are today. Even though you may sometimes feel like exciting stage, like like exiting stage right. That's what cartoons used to say. I didn't take my allergy medicine, so my voice is going, but I'm not going to get up and do it now. And leaving your past behind. You can't. You can only learn to deal with it and proceed forward. Some people do this more easily, and some feel stuck in the drama. If you gloss over the complexity, or if you superficially treat it as if it's just a set of chemical imbalances, then you're being set up for a fall. Maybe not now, but sometime in the not too distant future. Nothing about this disorder is simple, but if that's the way it's being treated, or if that's the way you experience it, then quite possibly some important issues are being minimalized or overlooked, and this won't serve you. The bottom line is that you've got to look deeply beneath the surface, because that's where you'll find some of the issues you need to explore in understand in understanding your life with bipolar disorder. Now I want to go into writing your own story and see how far we get. Do you see yourself in any of the preceding sections? Do you identify with Ashley, Jason, or Marcy, or possibly even with the stories in chapter 1? I forget what the names were in chapter 1. Let me just go back. I doubt we're all remembering exact things. Maria, Mary Beth, Jacqueline, Richard. It's probably not worth going back, but if you're bipolar, you probably see some in any example that's given. And I hope we all learn each other from the talks and the books that I bring into play. If you ever want to chat or live chat and leave things you would like covered, you can always leave them in the chats, and I will try to research them if I don't already have knowledge myself or references that I used. One way you can reflect on your bipolar experience is to write a story about yourself. Tell your own story from the point where you first began to experience any emotional ups and downs to the present. We're talking about your life circumstances, your interactions with significant others, your thoughts, feelings, and any mood instability. Essentially, how your life has unfolded since you began to be aware of any bipolar symptoms. So, you might you might want to go back to before you started recognizing unusual things happening to you, because there might be a lead up, or there might be things that didn't necessarily rush you along because you're born bipolar, and when it shows up, it shows up. Some bipolar is 16 to 20. That's why we're finding juniors in college, having episodes. Some mental illnesses don't onset till like 21, which most people would be done college, except the people I wanted to help get their bachelor's in 4 to 6 years. Now I have to remember where I was. There's no specific form that the story should take, and it can be as long or as short as you like. After all, it's all yours, just for your own eyes. Once you've completed your story, try to step back and from it and give it a read with as much objectivity as you can. Then ask yourself the following questions. What parts of your story stand out and why? Is there anything in your story that resonates with the material in this chapter or chapter 1? Does the story portray you as having any issues of denial or resistance? What have you learned about you as a result of writing your story? I just want to watch the time. I put a marker of where I want to stop, but if it's not up to like a hoot and a holler of minutes, I may go on. If you can devote enough time to your writing to create a fairly in-depth narrative, chances are you'll find the effort will pay off. It's often that we stop, and it isn't often that we stop and truly reflect on what we're going through. We hope you'll take the opportunity to do so and see what you learn. Finding acceptance. You've heard references in this chapter to the issues of vulnerability, fitting in, denial, anger, helplessness, and even pseudo acceptance. What ties all of these together is the need to truly accept what you're going through. Take stock of your life and then get on with it. It all sounds obvious. The difficulty with acceptance is the difference between what your life is and what you want it to be. That difference is often no small thing. So just to add an anecdote, I know someone that got a pretty hefty physical diagnosis. They actually didn't want to say that's what they had for a period of time. I don't know whether it was they were embarrassed I don't know whether it was they were finding it hard to let themselves accept it. Nobody's at fault. We go through this life the best that we can. We wake up every day and we try to go through, even if we're not bipolar, ups and downs, and manage our baseline. And if we're mentally ill, try to hug that baseline as long as you have. Those sections of bipolar where you're stable, enjoy them, and get as much work and solid relationship connection, and keep in touch with your support group, because they'll be there when you have an episode. And during stability, just keep them all in the picture, because they're the ones you're going to need. They're the ones that might recognize symptoms in you before you know it for yourself. Okay, the desire to be different. Just think of how many times many of us spend in fantasy. Often our fantasies reflect our wishes. Fantasies of falling in love can make us feel a little less lonely. Or if you're in a relationship, when you might have fantasies of a better relationship, being with someone who is more attractive, more loving, or more responsible. If only he and she were different, then I'd feel better. Or perhaps you have fantasies of a job that has more glamour or status, or one that pays a higher salary. Sometimes fantasies can revolve around being thinner, stronger, taller, or having a better figure, more hair, better health, you name it. Just take a moment to conjure up your wish list, and most of us can easily generate an if only list without much effort. Much time and energy can go toward wanting to be different, and sometimes this focus shows healthy desire for change. Of course, we want to be better in every way we can. That's good. Otherwise, we would be the point of Otherwise, what would be the point of our New Year's resolutions? Everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody wants to go to the gym in January. But how long do we last? Just an anecdote. My husband has always been heavier than me. And back when Weight Watchers was the only one in the game, we would go. I would lose more weight than him. And I would win this like Weight Watchers lunchbox or something. And I didn't go with him like any more than 2 or 3 times because he needed to lose weight. I didn't need to lose weight. And I don't think my losing weight was helping him. And the calories, counting calories and the points, it's hard because depending on what you do, if you count those points or calories, you can be up to the end of your calorie or point day at lunchtime. And then what do? Starve yourself till the next day. There are more options today on weight. And if it's a big issue for you, my small little anecdotal piece of the puzzle would be go to your doctor, go to your GP, and express how you feel about your weight. And is there a safe way for you to do it? Of course, exercise and, nutrition are all going to be part of it. The last I've looked at diet and nutritional things, they say fruit that has a lot of sugar isn't necessarily good. But veggies were always like, no calories, like eat celery all day long. So there are realistic things and then there are unrealistic things. But with bipolar disorder, you may see ways that you want to be different because you don't like the way the illness affects who you are, yet you're unable to change them. That's a painful part. There are many aspects of our existence that aren't changeable. If we could more readily enhance the notion and accept our uniqueness as part of our identity, life would be much easier. But we face one big obstacle: truly accepting the painful losses when things never heal or recover. So, want to emphasize again, you are you. You are not your bipolar disorder. You are not your anxiety disorder. You are not your major depressive disorder. You are not your OCD disorder. You are not your schizophrenic disorder. So you are you, okay? And right adjacent to you is an illness. I'll repeat it again, everybody uses it. Just like diabetes or arthritis or whatever. I think our society, and definitively health insurance, doesn't put as much value into getting us help for mental illness. And I believe that's wrong. And we have mental health, we have insurance help that we need in this country, and changes because a lot of people's insurance went up. I know there's ways to fix that. I know some of it's political. I know it's the insurance companies. I know it's big pharma. Who am I to think that I could change any of those? But here's hoping that someday the understanding of mental illness will get more, that the insurance will pay, that the deductible will be more reasonable. It's my understanding that these things are, insurance is expensive, and that people that have mental illness don't seem to get the same copay, or it seems like they pay extra money, and they feel like it's 8 visits. Remember PTSD? And in one of my books, it said 8 sessions. I don't think so. I don't have PTSD, but I guarantee if it's from a war or a rough childhood or something, 8 sessions does not sound enough. But if the insurance company is basing that on 8 sessions, then that's the way they pay. And then after the 8th session, you might have to pay the whole thing, So you have to investigate your insurance. I think I can finish this and stay under 25 minutes. Avoiding the pain of loss. Let's say you experienced a childhood where your parents were unhappy in their marriage and the divorce when you were 7 or 8. Additionally, let's assume that their conflicts and emotional abusive arguing was present in your family as far back as you can remember. Truly accepting that profound influence on your development means letting go of the hope that those painful memories will someday be gone, or better yet, healed, or that you will someday have a loving, intact family, or even that you could have had the kind of childhood that other kids seem to have. Unfortunately, if you're amongst those who grew up in the unstable and disrupted family environment, the painful experiences did happen, and those memories are stored in your brain. And if you're not a child of divorced parents, then simply let yourself think about anything else within your history that was emotionally painful and unwanted. It did happen, and you can't change it. Now, because the memories are painful, you may avoid thinking about them. That's a normal way of trying to cope with a painful experience. In fact, many people may think they would be better off if they could just find a way of shutting out or distancing themselves from their own painful feelings, negative thoughts, or memories that create difficulties for them. If there were methods out there that would truly that were truly effective, then it would make sense to try to learn them. But there's one very substantial problem with this way of coping. There isn't any kind of mental lobotomy. That's where they do something big time to your brain, where we can disconnect from emotionally painful thoughts, our feelings with our being vulnerable to some thoughts or feelings coming back to haunt us sooner or later. Many people try this kind of emotional distancing, and if you're one of them, you may even find that your efforts are partial. You may find that your efforts are partially effective, but if and when those unwanted mental experiences make themselves known again, especially if they emerge rather suddenly, you're more likely to feel overwhelmed by their intensity if you haven't learned the smart way to manage those feelings. Simply put, avoiding a painful reality doesn't help you to learn how to deal with it. Your defenses buy you time away from the discomfort, which is good, but the outcome doesn't help you to become better at managing the discomfort, which is not good. All right, I'm going to mention something that I've said before. These are minor little helps, but if they help anybody. So, if you're upset, play your favorite song. I have 102 or 3 songs in my playlist. The top 10 I found somewhere on Facebook. It had nothing to do with mental illness. It's just like put you in a happy mood. One of them is Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. One of them is Party in the USA by by Miley Cyrus. One is something by Lizzo, and I never knew Lizzo, but I love this song. It's like check your nails, shake your hair, whatever. So those 10 songs. Oh, Wham, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, Katrina and the Waves. I can't think of their song, but there's like 10 songs that are really uplifting. Like if you're really down, they don't help. I wouldn't watch the news much if you're feeling anxious or depressed. I wouldn't watch scary movies. I never watch scary movies. I would not. I would stay away from genres that maybe you can handle when you're going through a stable section, but maybe you can't handle it when you're really depressed. So I keep that in mind. Um, and the music is really quick. You have it on your phone. Yeah, I have it on my Alexa. I say play my playlist, and whatever Alexa is, I don't think it's AI yet, she usually does a good job. So I hope this helps. We have one more section of this chapter which I have felt for you that is very helpful. I don't I don't I don't even really know what the next chapter is because I haven't reread it, but I'll either go to that or go back to a book that seems to take off from this writing your own story. But I always will look for examples of people because I think that's comforting. I think knowing you're not the only one person in the world that has bipolar disorder is encouraging. So here's for Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, and thank goodness it'll be Friday and the weekend, and it's spring tomorrow, though it doesn't feel like spring where I live, but there always is the hope. So take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.